a hunger for a hunger for a family. John
Yeah,
Vervaeke talks about
and that's why I
domicile.
think this push where you're starting to was it there was it a Pew Research poll? There was a good article in New York Times like a week ago about this, how the decline of religiosity in America, which has been declining for like 40 years or so, like
Yeah,
pretty consistently and precipitously stopped,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And the only reason it stopped was Gen Z.
yeah,
Like Gen
yeah.
Z kind of made it so it just a plateaued. I don't think that that trend is going to stop anytime soon. The trend of that younger Gen Z's generation going more religious, a little bit more traditional, right, in that direction, because and maybe other generations have a hard time appreciating it, but they grow up in a very different world than the rest of us,
Oh
and
yeah,
it's like a lot of us, those who are sort of like grew up with a lot of religion and family and structure are in some ways living off the fumes of that,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And don't realize that they have what I don't know if you call like a privilege or something like that, right? Of growing up with that. And these younger people didn't have anything from the start.
yeah,
And so there's a much like there's a hunger and a felt need and like void
yeah.
uh in a way that's pretty powerful. That's I think it's going to keep driving people into church for community, right? As one aspect of it, right? Like, and I mean like thick community, right? Not like
Yep.
I have my friends at the CrossFit gym and or things like that, which that's good, right? That's one aspect of community, but like thick community, like I'm gonna be there when you die. I'm gonna be there when your
Yeah,
child's born. I'm gonna like those really heavy bonds that
yeah.
people need.
But this is both opportunity and challenge for the church because I think unlike, let's say, when I think about my parents' generation, so my parents were builders. They were born before the end of the Second World War. Both of my parents were born in the 30s. That generation stuck with church a long time, even if church let them down.
Yeah.
And I think you're right that people are looking to the church, but that's a challenge for the church that if the church stumbles with a lot of these people, they're going to continue on their desperate
And
search.
yeah, and I don't know about you, but I think I'd put my money on the church screwing it up a good bit, right? Because
Oh
that's kind of
yes,
what church does to a lot of times, right?
but the church, it's sort of like the joke with the bear. Like two guys are walking in the woods and they see a bear, and one guy says something like, that bear can run, 30 miles an hour, and the other guy says, I don't have to outrun the bear, I just have to outrun you.
Outrun you.
I
Yeah,
think I
yeah.
think part of the reason that the church still hangs around is that I see and I'm sure you see it in New York City, I see in Sacramento all kinds of other, and usually they're sort of poorly formed institutions. It might be a club or a yoga studio or something like that. And and for a while, that's sort of offering the hope to the seekers that, well, maybe this will be my family. One of the things that I talked about, one of the things that I've noted often is that part of the reason for the churches so often the church gets takes a lot of heat for its enforced demanding sexual ethic.
Hmm.
And I think, and like a lot of these other things that are sort of popping up in fashionable places for younger people in American culture, part of what they're offering is we're not putting any restraint on your sexual ethic. Yeah, but almost all of their families broke up probably because of someone's lack of, enforced, um, demanding sexual ethic. And so I think actually part of the reason that the church endures is because, yeah, we screw up a lot, but boy, I'll tell you, if you don't have an actual policed demanding sexual ethic, that thing is just going to take out your little tribe just again and again and again and again because it is just so common among human beings.